It takes a lot of money to look this cheap. That is my favorite Dolly Parton quote of all time. And yesterday, the news of her passing popped up on my social media, and I actually had to Google it just to be sure because a lot of time, fake stuff comes out there. And when it was verified on Google, my heart just sank. Um, and I burst into tears. What a remarkable legacy this woman has left this world. And I've sat and watched all the tributes pour in, and um, CBS aired a special last night um, documenting her life, and it was so touching and it was so moving. I grew up in the 1980s in a very, very, very small town, um, heavily influenced by country music. I was never really a fan of country music, but I knew who Dolly Parton was, obviously. And looking back and seeing the mark that she made on me at that age, um, I really didn't understand it back then, obviously. But now that she's passed, I see where her influence on me began. And I think most notably was the movie 9 to 5. And our primary babysitter, I don't recall if it was, because at that time, um, there were two premium cable channels, HBO and Showtime. I can't remember which one aired it, 9 to 5. Um, but they played it rather frequently, and every time it came on, we watched it. So that movie had a very big impact on my life, and Dolly's character was a big part of it. And I had no idea at the time that it was her first movie role. Um, yeah, that's amazing. So, her music, um, I wasn't really familiar with her music so much. Um, there was Islands in the Stream with Kenny Rogers. Uh, that comes to mind. In fact, I thought that they were a couple because of that duet. Um, and then, obviously later on I found out that they weren't. Um, but yeah, um, we eventually moved to a different town, um, and I became best friends with someone, and he was obsessed with Dolly, um, and specifically her chest. And I remember there was a time that we were playing and he blew up two balloons and stuffed them into a shirt and was pretending to be her. Um, and it would be years later that I would run into him again at a gay bar, and then suddenly it all made sense. Um, and then as a teenager, The Bodyguard hit. And I Will Always Love You became a phenomenal success for Whitney Houston. And and then I found out it was a Dolly song. And I was like, holy shit, really? And so that was just astounding. Um, and then as I became an adult, I got into the karaoke scene, and um, a very dear friend of mine, she and I kind of became duet partners, and we decided to do Islands in the Stream, but only if I could do the Dolly part. Otherwise, it was off the table. And she agreed, and it turned out it was a crowd favorite. So we did that rather often. Um, and Dolly Parton's presence just never went away. I mean, she hit peaks um, in her career time after time, and she currently was on one of those peaks at the age of 80. And the fact that she had written over 3,000 songs, had won many awards, many number one hits. Um, I didn't become familiar with the song Jolene until I was an adult, and it's an amazing song, and so many people have covered it. Um, I mean, nothing really comes close to the original, but I think it's a testament to how good the song actually is. But I think the thing that stands out the most to me, aside her being an amazing singer songwriter, actress, entrepreneur, um, philanthropist, is her humanity. And she stood up for everyone. Everyone. And hearing the tributes that are coming in from other musicians, celebrities, and even ordinary everyday people, that is probably the most common denominator in reference to Dolly, is her humanity. She was a woman of strong faith, and I truly believe that she is a prime example of what a strong Christian person should be. All loving, all accepting, um, giving, kind, generous, loving. That's that's what really sticks out the most to me about her. Most. Out of everything that she has accomplished in her life, the fame, the wealth, the rhinestones, the butterflies, the wigs. What an extraordinary life she led. And while my heart is broken into 1,000 pieces over her passing, I really can't help but smile ear to ear because her legacy is gonna live on. I mean, the impact that she has had on people spans generations. I mean, she had a career that spanned 6 decades. And she just never stopped. So last night, I had purchased one of her frozen cheesecakes. Um, I had bought one before and really enjoyed it. I'm not big on frozen cheesecakes. I make my own, which, not to toot my own horn, they are usually pretty spectacular, and I would prefer to make my own. Um, but when I don't feel like it, I'll get a frozen cheesecake, and they're generally pretty mediocre. Um, However, I found hers to be actually kind of stellar. So I had gotten another one, and it had been thawing in the fridge for a few days. So after hearing the news yesterday about her passing, um, I decided that yesterday was the day to bust it out and enjoy, to honor her and her legacy. And it was so good. um, in fact, I had a friend message me on social media, um, and he thought that her cheesecake was mediocre, um, and said that he had put some cherries on it and that made it better for him. Um, I'm not a big fan of cherries. Um, I would much rather go for strawberries or blueberries. So maybe next time I'll give that a shot. Not that I have anything wrong with it as is. Um, but, you know, everyone has their opinion. Um, so, yeah. I got to enjoy that in her memory. So, in closing, I just want to say that I kind of really wish I had the opportunity to meet her in person. Um, because I've been able to witness through various news outlets of people that were able to meet her in person and that it changed their lives. Um, and I'm also kind of really sad that no tributes that I've watched so far have mentioned her in the movie Steel Magnolias, which her performance as Truvy, I think, is my favorite movie role of hers. So that kind of surprises me a little bit. But yes, the mark that she has left on this world will be felt for many, many years, if not for a lifetime. Dolly, you were going to be missed so much. But we have so much to look back on, to continue to enjoy, cherish, and admire. Rest in honor. Backwards Barbie.